Hey, welcome back. This is Rick Garza here to talk to you about the character, the habits, and the life of a professional sales athlete. There's a gentleman by the name of Og Mandino who I've referenced quite a bit in these last 30 plus episodes. And that's because the book that Og wrote, The Greatest Salesman in the World and The Greatest Miracle in the World, have had a really big impact in my life and being able to help me in my growth and development as a professional sales athlete. What I decided to do is just take a few minutes and give you a quick background on why you would want to read The Greatest Salesman in the World. It's about 150 to 160 page book written back in the mid to late 60s and is one of the most read self-development books around. But quick background on Og Mandino. Og Mandino at a point in his life had what he thought was complete despair and ultimate failure. He was even at a point to where he had gone to a pawn shop there in Cleveland, Ohio, and contemplated buying a gun to end his life and all the misery that he had created for himself and his family. The net of it is he ended up going to the local library because it was so bitter cold that morning. And he ended up sitting down and surrounded himself with a complete library of soon-to-be heroes for him. Heroes who had written books about their lives and self-development and improvement. And he became an avid reader. And if you fast forward into the future, he soon became a successful salesman in the insurance business, became the editor of Success magazine, and was asked to write this book, The Greatest Salesman in the World. And it's a very interesting story of a young camel boy back in the pre-BC days of the Middle East, Hafid. And he wanted to achieve something in order to accomplish something greater than him, and that was to be able to marry the love of his life. And in the process, he realized that to be a great salesman, it was going to take principles, not just activities, but the mindset and a continuous repetition and belief and integration of the principles of what it takes to be a professional sales athlete. And the first scroll that he talks about in his book, The Greatest Salesman in the World, is that today I will begin a new life. And in talking about a new life, easier said than done, but you have to flush away all of the past failures if they're being used to drag you down. If you use your past failures as a way to learn, then I encourage you to use those as a way to reflect and learn and how to improve your efforts, your abilities, and your processes. But today, for you and me, we begin a new life. Because see, if we look at all of the salespeople that we've worked with and those that we've known in the past, Og says that if you piled them up, they would exceed the tallest pyramid of all those who've tried, attempted, and failed. But in this book, Og says, today I begin a new life and I will not be like them, because what I will do is I will develop and understand the principles that are in these scrolls. And I will also realize that success is a hard thing to get our arms around, because we could probably get a million people of what success is and get a million definitions. But failure is fairly easy to define, and everyone would agree that failure is our inability to reach our goals in life, whatever they may be. But he goes on to say in scroll number 1 that in order to achieve my success, whatever it may be, I need to do what those failures didn't do, and that's they didn't develop the good habits. And I've said this before, and it comes from the book that written by Og Mandino. We're all slaves to our habits. The question is, are we slave to good habits or bad habits? Are we going to develop the disciplines and the principles that are necessary to repeat it over and over again to remove and erase the bad habits and put in place new good habits that are reprogramming our brain, reprogramming our mind, and develop those habits that will make us become the greatest salesman in the world that God's designed us to be, and continue to develop our status as professional sales athletes. So like Og Mandino, maybe you and I have had failures, we've had miseries, we've had reasons to say, why am I even here? But I'm here to tell you, you're here to fulfill a greater purpose And that purpose will never be defined if you take shortcuts and take action on things that really aren't going to solve those problems. What's going to solve the problem is for you to decide that today you and I will begin a new life. So let's begin a new life. Let's go hit those doors, talk to those customers, and go make it happen, because our greatest days are still ahead of us. Have a blessed day and a good one. Bye-bye.